All right.
All right, order.
Ockett. Yes. Burrows.
Yes.
Stoffel. Yes. Randall. Vargas. Yes. We have a quorum.
May I get a motion to approve the agenda, please?
All motion.
In a second,
I'll second.
all in favor, say aye. Aye. Carries. Communication with visitors, have none. So we'll carry forward central administration.
No fundraising requests, like my trips. So we move around to. Just stand by over the speaker.
All right, so just kind of want to take a moment to highlight some of the things going on at the high school. It's first trimester review, kind of see our new freshman class coming in, 117 students. So we had a lot coming in. So just to review some of the academics and attendance data, kind of our key focus, one of our district goals is the attendance. So that's something we constantly review, seeing some good highlights there. Also talk about some of the class presentations we're doing. So I have a couple examples of what I'm talking about with the students. And then the class competitions we have, and then initiatives for our second trimester, in which Adam's going to be talking about the 2-week eligibility idea and just highlight some of that after school tutoring. And then also Brenda's going to be talking about students on track review for this year. So diving right into percent of high school students who passed all their classes. So I'm really liking this trend. We shared it with the staff last week. You can see that every trimester since 2021, we see that build up. So where we start at in first trimester, we build about 3% or so as the trimesters go on. So starting out at 87% is really promising for us. That's really great. So if you kind of project what third trimester is going to be, we might be at 93 to 95% of all our students passing, which is great. The data we really like to compare to is the 2019-2020. That's prior to the pandemic. So you can kind of see obviously the 2020 and 21 school year was still had a little impact, but we're seeing that build as we're moving along. So that's really good by our students there. And then also percent of all classes taken. So we had 2,096 classes taken by all our students this trimester. And so 97% of those classes were passed. So that's also a very good number for us. And that's also projected there over the years. GPA across the school for this first trimester, celebrating with the 9th grade at a 3.31. That's 111 students, my mistake. And then all our classes are above a 3.0, which is great, with our average being a 3.15 across the school GPA. So that's also very promising. So what we are doing here for the next weeks, Wednesdays during advisement, we're having class meetings. So I just got done with the 9th grade class meeting last Wednesday, where I went through some of these slides, and I'll kind of show just a little bit about what we talked about, but it's really just focused on all the positives that are going on in the school, specifically oriented towards the classes. And so the goal of those presentations is kind of just show students who are maybe struggling with attendance or grades is that, you know, they're sort of in the minority of the class, and to celebrate also the students that are doing really well in their classes. And so with the help of Adam, every week we give out 4 points, descending order 4, 3, 2, 1 on who had the most students on time to their classes and also passing most classes. So the freshmen off the first trimester scored 74 points, which is great. Every week we also give out 1 free yearly activity pass to a random student of that class. So the 9th grade, they got 10 students in 9th grade got free yearly activity passes. And then also we had a small celebration with ice cream sandwiches last Wednesday, which is really good. And I wish I had pictures, but I forgot to take a picture.
Yeah, we did.
You did? You do have pictures?
I meant, yeah, we forgot.
Yeah.
We didn't take any pictures either.
Yeah. So this is the whole, that advisement meeting is very high energy. Like the kids were clapping and we were having a lot of fun with it, kind of pointing out things. So this is a data chart that I share out every week to all students so they can kind of see how they are in comparison to their peers. So you can kind of see no tardies or unexcused absences, and it goes by the week. We talked about how we could do a little bit better. We kind of tailed off at the last half of the trimester, but we're still working on that. So And then also we celebrate just the overall on a weekly basis. I send this out so students can see how many people in their class are passing all their classes. So that's really good. 91% of all the freshmen pass all their classes. So that's very promising there. And I know it looks like a lot, but this is again what I share with the students every week. They kind of see how they compare to other classes. So this is the grade data that we base the competition off of. So you can see the freshmen had the highest marks there, 91%, 87%, 84%. So kind of see, I encourage, so they get it every Tuesday morning. So I encourage their first hour teachers just to kind of bring it up, just to discuss what great things they're seeing and how it can do better. And so they have that data available to them for their success. And the attendance data is something we're always kind of looking at to improve on. You kind of see some high points and low points there. Our seniors, I look at 12th grade because I have so many open class periods and things, and the open lunch, there is a little bit of fluctuation in there. And so that's kind of where we're really putting our focus towards, is kind of seeing where we can get better. But I do say, like, no tardies or unexcused absences. I mean, that's still pretty good. They're on time in all the classes and things like that. And so this is a really big thing I wanted to show to each class. So this is just 9th grade, and every class is going to get this. But my goal of this is to show students that just by being on time and not being unexcused absences can make a big impact on your GPA. So this is based upon first trimester data. And those 1 to 4 tardies, that's just the whole entire trimester, a period. So 33 students had no tardies whatsoever out of the freshman class. And then 46 only had 1 to 4 tardies out of all the periods that they had, which is fantastic. And then you can kind of see, we looked at, a drop of a 1.2 GPA just by those 5 or more tardies. We kind of see that translate there. So in the presentation, really honing in on just prioritizing being on time and how it does show an impact if you are on time. I did the same thing with unexcused absences. So again, those are periods, not days. And so you can kind of see that also projected on GPA, and 64 students had no unexcused absences to any periods. So that's very good. Also, we also, kids really clapped on this one. 87% of students in 9th grade had no detentions for tardies or unexcused absences. So that's really good. Again, the idea of the detentions is, I showed that previous slide, and it's like, we see the data that shows if you're on time, that you get better grades. So our job is also to reinforce our expectations. That's why we write detentions, and those conversations are good. And now with this data, I can kind of back it up, like we're approaching it from where we want to look at the end of the trimester, and not so much instantaneously you're late, but trying to reinforce what the end result will be, because you want to ultimately pass all your classes. And so as school-wide, we had 76% of students receive no detentions for tardies or unexcused absences. So that's the entire high school. The area of growth where we're really focusing on is that first period. And I'm trying to figure out ways to get that in the right direction, just arriving on time to school. You can see that as the periods go on, that's for the whole entire trimester. So that's the period. So 585 first period classes students were absent and excused for, and then 642 tardies. So how we influence that or try to change that, I don't still trying to debate on different ideas. Hopefully the competition can get things going, but outside of me with the megaphone outside in the parking lot, trying to get kids to come in, hoping the cold weather kind of gets kids to come in a little bit sooner. So, but yeah, that's kind of just the gauntlet we're working with. Just when they get here, though, we are seeing some improvement on attendance. So,
could you speak to 0?
What's that?
Could you speak to 0?
Oh, sorry, yeah, 0. So that's advisement. So that's the advisement class. I have to tag it with a number so they can register on the data. So yeah, 0 is advisement, which is just on Wednesdays between 3rd and 4th period. All right. So other initiatives we got going on, Adam?
So this is something new that we're going to try this trimester, and I appreciate Mr. Gens. He's done a tremendous job communicating with our coaches. Instead of him telling me, somebody's struggling academically or with attendance, then me going to the coaches have questions and go back and forth. Mr. Gens has done a tremendous job. He goes directly to the coaches. He just includes me in everything. And I think the coaches have really appreciated that. It's helped them kind of stay on top of their athletes. he does it for the in-season kids, and then we've also got a couple of coaches. For example, one of our spring coaches has already asked him to start including him on emails with his student athletes, see where they're at grade wise, attendance wise, things like that. So what we're going to do this trimester is implement this new eligibility policy. It's a 2-week policy. We're going to start it next Monday. Any student who is failing 2 classes on Tuesday morning, right?
Yep.
Tuesday morning will be ineligible until the following Monday evening. They do get 1 probationary week. So starting next Monday, if there's a student who's failing 2 classes, they get a probationary week to get 1 or preferably both of those class grades up. If that following Tuesday morning, they are still failing 2 classes, they become ineligible to participate until they get those grades up. And we'll do that every Tuesday. We'll run those grades every Tuesday morning or Monday night for Tuesday morning. We're trying this. We've got some kids who just aren't engaged in classes until the last week or 2 of the trimester, and all of a sudden now they scramble and pull their grades up. I think this also gets kids more aware of what they're doing in classes, staying on top of their homework, turning in their, assignments, studying for tests. It just helps them be more aware of the importance of the academics and not just, again, loading the teacher up at the end of the trimester to grade all these late assignments that they didn't turn in before. So hopefully, it's going to help the students. Hopefully it helps the teachers a little bit. I think another goal would be parents would also get more involved in checking their kids' grades. I know we've had a couple of parents email us about some situations, and we encourage them, check your child's grades. There's no reason that somebody doesn't know, whether it's the kid or the parent, what their grades are. So again, we hope that that we don't have a ton of students that fall in this. That probationary week, I think, hopefully gets everybody's attention. But this is something, again, our coaches have been very receptive of. And again, and they've also, our winter coaches at least, have obviously talked to their students about it. And then once the spring sports start, we'll have those coaches as well hammer on those kids and hopefully start making the difference again. Questions on that?
Well, I guess, I just know in the past it has been a problem with upgrades of grades and stuff, and I know like my daughter will be like, well, she just hasn't graded it, and then I'll get on her, and then, she's, the doghouse when it's true, that it hasn't graded yet. So, is this going, is that like, if that, will they get a pardon, or is this gonna be accurate? Is it gonna be like, I don't want a student to be punished because of grades not being posted. Not saying that happens all the time. I'm just saying that's happened.
And I could let Brenda or Andrew talk on that. I do know last week, Wednesday, they did also talk to the staff about this and the importance of updating grades, making sure they're updated. I don't know if you have any more that you want to touch on that or.
Yeah, we talked about just the overall policy and how it's also going to bring our teachers to, as you pointed out, to make sure their grades are up to date. The probationary week might help to alleviate some of the pressure. Like, it's not just instantaneous, you're ineligible. If you got 2 failing grades, that hints that you should go talk to the teacher and get those grades up if there is a slight mistake. There is a little bit of thing I'm really emphasize with the teachers is that those, when they're ran on that Tuesday, it's final. And so even if, and this could happen, if a teacher did make a mistake, that doesn't matter, you're still ineligible. And the reason for that is that we want to avoid the pressure. Like if a teacher's like, oh, I made a mistake, I'll switch it. And then that opens the door to now students thinking like that ineligibility is flexible. I can just go talk to the teacher. And so we really want to hone in on that and really work with teachers on making sure the grades are up to date, which we are constantly promoting with teachers on a regular basis anyway. So
we're also grades are due. We're due today at 3:30, so we'll run this tomorrow, and then we can talk to specific teachers about, hey, if we were doing an eligibility run this week, these are the kids that, because your grades aren't up to date. Or we can talk to kids and say, hey, if this were this week, you would be on probation. So kind of doing that a week ahead, a week earlier, so we do kind of a trial run with teachers, with students to pay next week's for real. So I think that'll help a little bit too.
Just real quick, so we're going to continue our work with the CAP program, which is our Center for Academic Progress. This is after school on Mondays and Thursdays. So
We start out slow, but it's really had some great success towards the end of the trimester when students see it as a resource. So we have about 2 teachers in there, myself and 2 or 3 teachers. Some teachers have used it as an opportunity to tell students to go there after school. And they got a little table set up where they're working with students and stuff. So it's, really done well. Average 10 students on Mondays, and Thursdays are a busy day with 16 on average students. Like you can see by the end of the trimester, more students are coming. So it does get really busy in there, and me personally, I really enjoy it because it's just watching kids really work on their homework, work in small study groups. So I think a lot of the students who have come to that really utilize that, and it shows in our grades and kids passing classes. So really excited about that. So we'll be continuing that in second trimester.
So then this last part is, it gives you an idea of where students are on track to graduate. And so we say 9th graders need to be on, if 9th graders passed 4 out of their 6 classes in first trimester, that puts them on track to graduate. Ultimately, students need to earn 56 credits in 4 years, which comes out to 14 credits in a year, and they have the opportunity to take 18 credits in a year. So there's lots of wiggle room there to still be able to graduate with your peers. And so when we look at that, then 97% of our freshmen pass at least 4 of their 6 classes. In 10th grade, then that number is, I wrote it down, I debated on the number multiple times, so I have to make sure I have that right. 20. So if they've, by the end of the first trimester in their sophomore year, if they've passed at least 20 of their classes, then that puts them on track to graduate. Obviously there's some flexibility in those numbers, but just trying to pick an even number. So 91% of sophomores are on track. 95% of juniors, they need to have 30 credits at this point. And then this year's senior class, they are the last of the COVID babies. Their graduation requirements this year are 52. So if they can earn 6 in a trimester, they have to be at 40 by the end of first tri, and then pass all 12 classes. So we have 88% of our seniors on track to graduate. When I was looking at these numbers too, something that I thought was interesting and maybe worth sharing. For starters, we've added 15 kids since count day just at the high school. Number 399 starts tomorrow. So, but for example, in that 10th grade class, half of the kids who are behind are brand new students to us who just came sometime during the first trimester, which means they, depending on when they came, they may not have even had enough seat time to be able to earn any credits in that first trimester. So, so half of the students in 10th grade who are behind are brand new to us. Same with 11th grade, half of the kids behind in 11th grade are brand new to us. And then in 12th grade, it's about 1/3 of them are new to us that are behind in credits. So that's not an excuse, it's just another data point that we look at and allows us to build stronger relationships with the newer students, as we know we have to help them get back on track and get going. And so then we also look at the number of credits that they are behind. So the blue is 1 to 5 credits, and then the red is more than 5 credits. So everybody is within, they can make it back, and they can still graduate on time. That senior group, the ones that are more than 5 behind, that's going to be a little more of a struggle. Some of them have already, we've had meetings with families and already talked about, you're going to be a 5th year, we're going to have you come back, but we're still going to get that diploma, and we're going to figure out how long that'll take you, but we'll get you through, kind of thing. We also have some students, and I say some because it's a small enough number that I don't want to say how many, right? But we do have some students who are in their 5th year also with us this year and are going to make it and well on their way too. So getting out in 4 years is still the thing we like everybody to do, but we do end up with some more students that come back than
than we had in previous years. And then this one just compares, again, students in the last 3 years where we were. So we are yellow this year and we're inching up over the past 3 years, which is definitely good. So you can see that this year's senior group has kind of been lower all along. And then this would be how we compare them. So this year's sophomores, 92% of them were on track last year at this time. This year's seniors, they started at 80% in the year 21-22 and 86% and 88%. So it's closer. I would say too, as I said already, a little earlier this year, we said, okay, let's look at this group of seniors. Who is it that's not on track? Who is it that's going to struggle? That historically has struggled. Let's get those families in. Our counselors created a graduation plan that they write out with the students and then go through that with the parents. We did those all earlier, and then we revisited with them at parent-teacher conferences in October, or got them in there in October if we needed to, just so families could see where we were, kids could see where we were, or where they were, so we get more of them across that finish line. So, questions?
Thank you very much. Very comprehensive. Okay, next item, activity department update. Adam.
Yeah, so I think one of the things, just to discuss our open coaching positions, we were kind of looking back just a comparison from last year to this year. Honestly, not a whole lot of difference. I think the big difference is just we blasted that out. Last week, I think I put that out. That's actually helped. The biggest, I would say as of now, the biggest concern I have is we have 4 paid junior high track positions. We have nobody contracted for any of them. So if anybody's interested. However, since I have put that out, we have 2 applicants. So I think just kind of generate, whether people know to go to the website or not, or, they don't see that they're open, that opened some people's eyes at least. We've also had, I think, 1 baseball applicant since we put that out as well. So the other thing I would say to some of those coaching positions is we've added, I don't have the specific number, we've added a number of positions in the last probably 3 years, just due to the number of kids that we have. We just added a boys basketball posting, whether we get it filled or not. Big reason for that is because we play 3 levels. We're going to play 3 levels all year in boys basketball. That's usually that's been on the fence for a while. Sometimes we just play the 2 levels. With playing the 3rd level of freshmen and sophomores, they don't necessarily always play the same schedule. So to have their own coaches is helpful. We did that in volleyball a couple of years ago. We added that position in baseball last year, where we have a dedicated freshman schedule now. We're going to get them probably 20 to 26 games of their own. So to have some of those positions added, I think that creates some of this as well, where it may look like we have, and we do, have open positions, but again, I think my biggest thing right now is just getting those junior high track positions filled, obviously coming up this spring. And again, I think with the 2 applicants that we have right now, I think we'll get them filled. High school track coaches are aware of it. They know that they're looking for some people to hopefully be interested. The nice thing about track is, since they all practice at the same spot, if we are short, the high school coaches can certainly help the junior high coaches. And I know that's happened a little bit in the past. So other than that, I don't have a whole lot unless anybody has questions. Obviously the winter activities are in full swing. We've just got a handful of home events before winter break now. It's kind of we have a very, I would say, odd basketball schedule. Last Friday night was our only Friday night home basketball game all year, which is unfortunate. So we have we'll have basketball tomorrow night, and then we have a boys only doubleheader the following Tuesday, and then nothing until after break. Then we've got a home girls wrestling meet coming up a week from tonight. So lots of kids involved, lots of things going on, and so far we're off to a good start. So if anybody's got questions on anything, I'd be happy to entertain them.
I think it's that infographic that was put out that listed all the openings. I think that's good, actually. To your point, it garners a lot of attention, which is great. And I think in the past, at least some of the feedback I've received is, we've posted individual and then they get kind of lost in the shuffle because it's like, oh, was that the opening or was that the opening? And I think at one point in time, the posting was pretty generic. So it's like, oh, which was that an opening for a junior high track or was that varsity track or what was it? People got confused. So I think that infographic helps quite a bit clarify and hopefully gets you the staff you need.
Yeah, that's hope. I talked with our girls soccer coach today. We have an assistant job opening. That wasn't even on that post, but we have 4 applicants and another person who said they're interested in that. So we're gonna try to get that wrapped up here in the next week or so. Yeah, I think just making those posts again, getting that attention to those open positions when we have them. It went well with the football opening to post that and then, show everybody what else we had. So I thought it just made sense at that time. And like I said, hopefully it's helped a little bit.
I think the other thing that's good too is, if I'm looking for a head coach position and I see there's an assistant opening, I know that I can build my team. So that's helpful to know that, oh, there's all these openings aside from what I'm going for, that I can bring my coaching staff from wherever, that kind of thing. So
Absolutely.
that's helpful.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Does the cost of the training hinder anyone from doing it? Because isn't there a payment for the training?
Yeah, to get your coach authorization, there is a fee. Currently, I wouldn't say it hinders. We do offer as a school district to pay for, I believe it's 2 a year. And if there's more than that, the booster club pays for 2 more. We have paid for, let's say, several in the last couple of years. We do ask that if we pay for it, that they do volunteer for 2 seasons, just to, hopefully keep them on board. So I don't, to answer your question specifically, but I don't know if it's a hindrance, but we just had somebody get it and they did the classes, they got it done in about 2.5 weeks. So it's not necessarily a time commitment thing. You can do, Kirkwood has a program, DMAC has a program, and Iowa Central has, they're all online. So you can do it fairly quickly through any of those programs.
Is there an in-person component to those at all anymore?
The only in-person component is they have to meet with a certified athletic trainer to tape an ankle and a wrist. That's the only thing they have to do in person, and that person just signs a sheet of paper, says, yeah, they did it fine. So, but they don't have to go to classes or anything like that.
Any other questions or comments for Adam? All right, thank you. Next item, to review and approve the proposal for the relocation of the visitor teacher.
So this is an estimate, and then along with drawings, from Nathan Poe. Nathan Poe's company is Experts Edge. It's his company. He's the one who installed our bleachers, the current grandstand bleachers that we have, the new complex. So this is his bid, a proposal to take the existing visitor bleachers that we have currently over here at our field, tear those apart, haul them over to our new facility, and then build them back up, as well as making them handicap accessible. So he would add ramps onto those and handicap seating as well. And he's done a nice job with our current bleachers, so that could be a great person to have move these. He's already looked at them, measured them, he knows they'll fit. He has a plan of how he can make it work, etc., while adding on the ADA compliant materials that are necessary. Any questions about that?
When did you say that was gonna?
He could start that as soon as this is approved. He's pretty well done out here. There's a few minor things that need to be done out there yet, so they'll be coming back to wrap up a couple of things on the grandstands. So yeah, they'd be able to have this well in time for probably spring and next football season for sure.
that, I would entertain a motion to approve the proposal.
Motion.
In a second,
One second.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, carries, thank you. Next item is the first reading of board policy 603.1 to 605.41. Are
there any questions regarding these policies? Again, these are just taken from the Iowa Association of School Boards. Recommendations that they send out. These are reviewed every 5 years on a continual rotating basis. So Kara grabs she'll take a chunk section of these board policies, match them, compare them to the Iowa Association of School Boards' newest, latest recommended policies based on current Iowa law. They're vetted through their attorneys, et cetera. And then we take a look at them. We see if there's any changes or any implications for us that would affect us. Generally, they're written, I'd say, vague enough or in general enough terms that they're not real tight. There's not any real strong requirements based on these policies that would force us to change a lot. And if so, we can certainly alter those or change some of the wording in them. But in general, we adopt what Iowa Association of School Boards recommends. So this is just, again, part of that process of updating those on that 5-year basis.
So I only had maybe 2 comments and a question. On policy 603.4, really, and this is just really nitpicky because I know we'll fix it when we do this, but just for posterity's sake, fixing the numbering in the second page or whatever of it. Because we removed some full components, so the numbers would have to change. I know we will, and then just grammar, capitalizing the first word and all that kind of stuff. Normally that's highlighted and marked and stuff, so just got to say it so we know that we're expecting that. And then the other one, 603.6, outside resource people. I guess I was just really curious. I see that it's being removed because it's not in IASB. That's outside resource people, basically indicating that the board can approve or disapprove of having outside people in the community coming in and assisting with education, I guess. My curiosity is, should we have something like this? Should there be something similar but different? Does removing this leave up too much ambiguity? Because I know we'll still use outside resources, whether it's junior achievement, pulling in somebody from the community that is an expert in something. We'll do that, I'm sure. But I'm curious if this policy is necessary in some way or helpful in some way.
It could be, and I don't know, Brenda, I don't know if you happen to know if this is in our handbooks anywhere.
In the high school handbook, there would be a paragraph about not volunteers, it's guest speakers. And I think it might be in the teacher handbook also. I think there's basically that you need to secure permission from the principal or designee before it happens. And then as far as in the handbook, just signing in and making sure you have a visitor badge and those sorts of details. So, is there another board policy that talks about guest speakers or is this the only one? That would be my question. Is it covered in the current board policy?
That part I don't remember, so maybe we'll have to do some small research on that just to make sure that we're
dig into that a little more.
Yeah, sure. I just don't want to leave us open to where it's open to interpretation.
That's not a bad policy.
I mean, I don't necessarily know that we have to have it verbatim as it was, but it's something just to give guidance.
Yeah,
that's really all I was interested in. Otherwise, the rest is okay. Did anybody else have any thoughts or anything for first reading?
Health services, we reviewed that with the nurses as well, so they took a look at policy to just make sure it aligned with their procedures and how they administer medicines, etc. buildings.
Okay, no action on that one. Next item then, if there's no more commentary, is Sean, superintendent report.
Yeah, so first, begin with the capital projects update, athletic complex, we should see the beams for the large football soccer scoreboard being installed. We'll have to drill in the footings for that. And before they begin that, I believe we will have a change order. The original depth, I think called for what, 5 feet by 3 foot wide tubes. And this is just doubling that essentially. So extra cement, extra rebar, reinforcement, which is probably a good idea. That thing catches a lot of wind. It's large board. So we hate to see something happen to that. So that change order should be coming in soon. Metal siding is being installed on the ticket booth and concession stand. So that's near completion. Visitor bleachers. Hopefully we can get those moved now. Again, we'll see on the timing of that, but I know they want to start tearing them apart. They can start tearing them apart pretty quickly. I just don't know how soon they get them built back up. But again, he said well in time for activities going on out there. Track, we're hoping to get that lined when the weather gets nice. We have a couple warm days coming up. We'll see if they can fit us in. But I think they said it needs to be over 50 for 2 days with lows in the 30s. So that's really borderline right now. And with forecast changes every hour, it's just hard to tell if we'll get that accomplished or not. But fingers crossed on that. That's a biggie, getting that track lined. And then electrical wiring is being run. Transformer should be set yet. So we're just hoping to get power out there fairly soon. Again, for sure in time for spring sports. So it's sooner the better on that, just to have them be able to test everything and make sure everything's working correctly. Press boxes and dugouts will be completed. We're looking at using local contractors. They're going to give up some of their time to really help us out with that process. So once we get more information on that, I'll let you know, the pricing, etc. For the press boxes, dugouts, and then just a few other small items that they'll need to get knocked out here. Like they're putting in like toilets, partitions, and the concession stand, things of that nature. We'll still have a little dirt work to do, some final fencing to be installed, seating, some of those items. So, Adams, or anything think of that I left out?
I think that's pretty comprehensive. We have ordered the baseball and softball scoreboards. They're supposed to be delivered, I think, end of December, early January. The same company that I've called to move the football scoreboard will install the baseball and softball scoreboards. So, we've got a little extra time on those. Obviously the football soccer scoreboard, want that by the spring. Baseball, softball, we've got a little extra time. So other than that, I think we're, I would say it's a lot of little work, but it's easy for me to say it's a little work. We're not doing it.
Right. Any questions on the complex? All right, inclement weather. I'm just going to touch upon this briefly. There's a whole page on our website about that, but we're getting to that time where we can have snow, cold, ice, sleet, rain combinations, and creating, either severe cold temps or snow that can make roads impassable or difficult to get down, ice, etc. We had close call here last Friday. If you saw the forecast, we're under a weather advisory, and they were predicting snow, possible ice mixed in there. I think they said up to 1/10 of an inch of ice, which doesn't sound like much, but doesn't take much ice either. And so general procedure on any of that, we from here on through spring be watching the forecast daily, and Roger and I, anytime weather is predicted to come in, we're up early, 4:30 in the morning, that morning, checking roads, communicating with each other, watching the forecast, the national, the NOAA. Can't remember what that all stands for, but they do webinars, at 4:30 in the morning. To give the latest updates, which I don't think those are really that different than what you see like on TV or when you pull up your phone and get the forecasts. So working with Roger, talk with other superintendents in the area as well. And all this is going on, to try to give the most accurate and up-to-date information that we can, so that we can then make a decision by 5:30. 5:30 is a goal. We have people that start heading to work about that time, cooks, bus drivers, etc. And so if we can keep those people off the road, if we know that we're going to cancel, we certainly will. Now, sometimes, just like, we all know how predictable weather people are and how accurate they are, right? And that's what we're basing our information on. So, we're just doing our best based on what we get from other people. And sometimes things come up at the last second. It could be 6:30 and all of a sudden the temperature drops 2 degrees and the rain turns to ice. Well, we want to have that in by 5:30, but at 6:30 and we decide we need to cancel classes or postpone classes, we're certainly going to do that for the safety of the kids. So we're going to do it in as timely as a manner as we can. But yet, we can't control the weather. So sometimes the weather changes on us past 5:30. But that's pretty much how we operate with that. And it's nice to be able to do a 1 hour, 2 hour late start. Then we can see what is actually happening as well. And then make decisions based on what's occurring just as we go on throughout the morning, whether we need to cancel, etc. And the same for early outs. We're just going by what the weather people are telling us and their predictions, and then we have to kind of plan that out about 2 to 3 hours, knowing that we got to get, the kids fed, and we got to plan to get them, the buses lined up, the drivers in, the drivers here, and then get the kids home, what time the buses return back by. So there's just a lot of things going on there, things to consider. It's not a perfect science by any stretch of the imagination. But that is, I guess I'd say in a nutshell, how we do that. For extreme cold weather, there's a weather chart from the NOAA organization as well. And so it talks about frostbite and time outside compared to when anticipated frostbite would occur. So like 30 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes. And so generally we're looking at around that negative 20 degree mark, give or take, is when we look to start postponing more likely classes in the morning. If we think it's going to be beyond that negative 20. Again, going by what the predictions are, sometimes they nail it and get it right. Sometimes it's not even close and people wonder what in the world we're doing. So again, imperfect science, but we do our best on that. So I guess the last thing I'd say, any parents listening, anybody listening, just when in doubt, if you don't feel it's safe for your kid to go to school, don't send them. We totally, if you're out in the country, if country roads, your kid needs to drive or whatever, and you just don't feel safe, then don't send them. We're gonna excuse those children and be, respectful and understanding of parents' decisions as well for the safety of their children. So, any questions about that? All right, next thing, ready, set, govern. New board member onboarding workshops. I don't know if any of you have attended that, but they will be in our area. Yeah. Already went to that. Yeah. So if you want to, if it was so good, you want to go again, it'll be at Clear Creek, Amana, and Mount Pleasant schools, 16th and 17th. I think those are repeat on those classes. So I just want to throw that out there. And anytime we're pretty lucky. Amy Drawbaugh, the main person that does the training, lives in Muscatine. So I see her in meetings frequently. She'll attend meetings at the Mississippi Bend AEA with us. And so if we ever want to bring her out or any of the ISB folks, just let me know and we can certainly set something up for our board to have them come out and work with us on whatever it might be that we want to work on. So let's keep that in mind. I have a few commendations. So some commendations we have, Mr. Ryan would like to give a huge shout out to 2 different groups of teachers that went to a 3-day professional development workshop on professional learning communities. They went this school year last summer, and then I think we went this summer, and then we had 2 that went this fall. One was early in the fall, and then one just last week. So Kansas City, St. Louis, and Minneapolis, I think so far they've been 2. Yeah, 2 this fall. So they've been away from their classrooms for 3 straight days, which is tough, it's stressful. But they worked hard, were focused, ready to learn each day, and I think they were very appreciative to be able to go to the national conference, really focus on professional learning communities and just taking that back to their classrooms and working with other teachers and students on that process. So far, I think he has a little over half of the staff, they're trained on professional learning communities, and the goal is to get every staff member there trained on that. So it's a very, let's say, fairly intense training. There's a lot going on there with it, but it's just great work. It's just meeting students where they are. It's connected heavily to the MTSS, multi-tiered system of supports process, standards, grading, just grading and assessment curriculum. So it's just good work, great work that we're doing. So appreciate that. Ms. Vernon sent me a commendation for a TAG student Thanksgiving feast. A couple of us here were able to participate in that, and the students do just a fantastic job with that. They actually have a Thanksgiving feast in their classroom. It's the ambiance is awesome, kind of dimly lit. One of the sessions had a flute player, I think. The kids are awesome. They serve and wait on you for this multi-course meal. They're almost stealth-like, they're just right there, and they're constantly waiting on you, and they're there to help you. They're awesome. They're just so cute. They're so helpful, and they're it's pretty neat.
It's a legit meal.
Yeah,
really good.
It is. It's great. They did it last year, this year. I don't know how long they've been doing it, but it's really a neat experience, and they learn like customer service and just a lot of things that go along with that as well. So in addition to them serving an awesome meal, I think there's a lot that they learn along with that. It's super enjoyable for those who get to partake and eat. So we appreciate that. And also she sent out commendation for the student council. Megan Rex and Rachel Waters were teacher reps for organizing the food drive this year. So thanks for doing all of that to them. And then from Mrs. Arthur Miller, Amory Alvarado was selected as a school winner for the Heisman High School Scholarship school winner. And so the school winners then get their name put in for state winners. And I don't know if that's been determined yet or not.
No,
State.
yeah.
And so I didn't know what this was. The Heisman High School Scholarship, so I'll just read a little blurb, was created in 1994 through a partnership between Wendy's and the Heisman Trophy Trust. From its inception, the program has leveraged the reputation of the Heisman Memorial Trophy as a symbol of great ability combined with diligence, perseverance, and hard work. And so seniors that have certain GPAs, high GPAs, etc., they can apply for this at the local level, and then the school winners get to move on to state to national. So congratulations to Amory Alvarado for being the school winner of the Heisman High School Scholarship. I believe that is it. Any questions for me?
Thank you. Next item is personnel.
Yeah, personnel is included on here, a couple resignations for coaching contracts and then a couple new hires. So filled one of our coaching positions, high school baseball assistant, and then food service.
I will entertain a motion to approve the personnel.
I'll make a motion.
In a second,
Second.
all in favor say aye. Aye. Carries, future agenda items, the next board meeting is the 18th. We'll have the consent agenda, second reading of the board policies we saw today. Approval of at-risk and dropout prevention plan, and then a financial forecast. So as always, if there's anything you think of, let us know, we'll get it added. And with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion.
In a second,
I'll second.
all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Carries, adjourned at 6:50.